Hello, and welcome back to Business Go. Today we're going to be talking about a little thing known as, franchising. So, what exactly is franchising? Well, franchising is what happens when a franchising, a franchisor, which is the person who owns the existing business, that has the proven business model. They're the original owner, and they say, okay, so we have to expand. Or maybe sometimes they don't even want to expand, maybe they're just approached by someone who says, okay, I would like to, open up my own area of you, like basically a clone of you, and they grant permission to do that to the franchisee. That's the person who wants to set up that kind of business, to use its name, logo, and business day in return for a fee, or percentage of profit sales, and oftentimes a sometimes very large initial payment up front. In some cases that you will see this payment might be in the hundreds of thousands, which is astonishing. Like, if you want to open up a big business chain, a lot of the time it will cost you hundreds of thousands of quid. By the way, that's in my currency. If it's in your currency, well, you can, it might even cost more in your currency. But you know what I mean. That's the kind of thing I have here. Like, I think one franchise is like 300,000. Like, that's a massive amount. That's a massive amount to pay. But that's just to set it up. That's money you have to lay down just to open that place up and put the name there. That doesn't include paying for any of the location or anything like that. We'll be discussing in the later one. But anyway, franchising allows the franchise there to expand their business without actually having to invest any further into the business. This is a real benefit for them, because a lot of times it's like, you just have this thing where it's like, any additional risks are passed on to the franchisee in a contractual arrangement. And this is the kind of thing you have here where there's a very low capital investment. This, by the disadvantage of franchising for the franchisor, not for the franchisee. There's low capital investment required, because franchising is a form of franchising that requires very little investment from the franchisor. Or the capital, even sometimes actually, it can even gain the franchisor money. Because let's say you have, whatever fees you have, or whatever, because of losses, because you had to make meetings and any training, any other sort of thing. You can, if you add that on to your, fee for setting up, you can actually make money. Like, technically, some businesses could make money just simply off signing up franchisees to go like, oh yeah, would you like a franchise business? Sure, that'll be 200 grand. Yeah, I'm gonna buy another home with that. Because there's very little capital required there, because the capital used to expand the business actually comes from the franchisees, not only paying for the licensing, but also in some cases what you'll have there is, like, let's say franchisee decides, okay, I want to open up a chain of your business. Now, obviously, I'm going to rent out this building, but the franchisee is going to be doing the renting out. Now, some businesses may decide to purchase buildings, and then they also get rent money from the franchisee. That protects them from being like, well, now you can't just ditch our brand name, and once you've got a lot of people ditch our brand name and just have your own business. But it also means that you have this kind of benefit of, like, you closing in around the franchisee, so you protect yourself from them, any rising rents or anything like that. In fact, you can rise rents yourself. But that's the sort of situation you have there, where, like, franchisee has to pay rent, franchisee has to pay all the maintaining for that business to run, has to hire all the staff, has to take all the financial, any sort of financial sort of risk that might be involved. You can essentially just say, okay, franchisee, you will also pay this in the lump sum before you can actually use our name. And that is before that is even proven. Like, sure, this may be proven to succeed, but let's say a franchisee doesn't really do that great investigation. Let's say they pay over their 200 grand, they pay over their rent money, pay over this thing, they hire a few staff, pay them all these things, and then boom, they open up and no one wants to go in. Now, the original shop, the original place, maybe the original place that sells it, sure, they're booming, they're making loads of money all the time. Maybe if they have multiple other chains, and all the other ones are booming as well, and they're making loads of money. But this particular Oh my god, how much money? So much as a franchisee might be like, I just paid a good lot of money, and because this business is not mine, I'm not able to really do much. Like, let's say you go, prices are, too high in this area. And obviously, if that was your own business, you just go, okay, we'll drop the prices. Because you're a franchisee, well, you don't have that power. No, sorry, Poppy, don't. No, you don't. And that can be problems for a franchisee. But of course, it does mean that there is a certain amount of, there's this kind of situation where it's like, well, you don't have to be like, okay, you've got the power to, what I'm saying is, like, you do have the power to mess around in someone else's business. Technically it is, but you know what I mean. Yeah, that kind of thing there. It's an issue there. Some businesses will allow you to have this sort of thing. But you also have the whole thing of fast expansion. Because the franchising permits a more rapid method of expansion. By using the franchise's capital rather than the franchisor's capital, the franchisor is able to establish a large number of outlets in a very short period of time. And in some cases, you have these kind of things where shops can be opened up like one every single week. Like for massive businesses, you'll have this, where they'll have franchises popping up all around the world. Like some businesses will have franchises popping up all around the world constantly. They'll have one here, because there are over 200 countries in this world. So, if you have one of them in every single, that's like, one a year, roughly. Well, it's a little bit more than 1 year, but you know what I mean? Like some obviously locations will have more than one. But you know what I mean? That kind of thing here. Like, you have this situation where it's like, well, yeah, you have a colossal amount of, places opening up all the time, and that's the kind of thing you have there with franchising. But that's sort of the point there. You see, you have this kind of rapid expansion. You can be people actually incurring any of the overheads and costs associated with opening up company-owned outlets. But the company still owns the outlets, and that's the key. Because if I'm a business, I can't then, I own the business in a way, but I don't own the name. That business, I still have to pay that money over there. So in a real way, in some cases, sometimes franchise deals will be good, but a lot of the time, franchise deals are pretty bad. It's a bit like, let's say, you've got this kind of thing where you're like, one of the things, it's like this area where you have this situation where basically what you're saying here is basically, you incur all the costs while I will take all the profits you have there. And I think that's a problem where it's like, oh yeah, you can use my name, but you pay me the profits. Like, imagine if I said, yes, you can use this channel name, but that'll mean that for all the ad revenue you get and all the sponsorships you might get, you have to pay me a percentage, because for the name, I guess. But technically, you could set up your own business, but you see, it's not good. In a way, it's a good deal for you, but, because it's a tried and tested business, that's the point. Because it's a tried and tested business, the business is less likely to fail, but because of the fact that, not so much because it might be good, like you might get one area that has far, far better quality, far better prices, far better deals, far nicer staff, all of these things across the board, a much better business place. But here's the thing, it's lacking one thing, and that's a very recognizable, popular brand. That doesn't mean they're bad. That, in fact, can sometimes mean they're better, because bigger businesses tend to be able to kind of have a bit of a power thing where it's, prices, because they're like, well, you want to eat in our area? Or you want to buy our goods? Well, pay up the bigger price. Or in some cases, it just doesn't work out. But the point is, at the end of the day, there's all these other advantages and disadvantages when it comes to franchising, and some of them work well with the franchisee as well as they do with the franchisor. Some of them are that the business is well known and it's tried and tested. That works well with the franchisor and the franchisee, because the franchisee is able to build up a business when they don't have as much risk. Where, because as I said before, and all the time, you cannot just say, oh, your business failed, you must be better to try that then. No, actually, because that's like saying, You must be a rubbish politician if you didn't get elected. No, you see, here's the thing. That's not how business works. You get money for goods, but of course, I can't just I might have an amazing good. Here's the thing. Let's say I've got £1 million in the bank. I don't, but no, let's say I did. Then I might be able to say, okay, I'm going to buy a bunch of these products and I'm going to sell them for way below cost. I made them. I had them made. So I'm going to sell these off. But no one wants to buy them. I've put ads out, no one wants to buy them. That's the thing. You won't get customers just because you do that. That's not how business works. You also have to do other things. Now, you also have another benefit. And this is the thing that we'll be talking about in the next video. Because unfortunately this video has to be split up in two. You can view the next video when it comes out. And you can also view other videos. And we can also subscribe to YouTube channel. That would have a whole bunch of, the way if you don't want to view other videos. But now and in the future, I just say this bye-bye for everything. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your existence.